Welcome back to the channel. Today we're in El Paso, Texas for the Sun City Crit. 0.68 mile course, 4 corners with like a chicane in it, and it's sitting at around 6,700 feet of elevation, which is huge for someone that rides at 0 elevation. Fast course. Never really slowed down. My heart rate really never went down. Really had no time to recover just because of the nature of this course. We had to climb in it. Really thought that would slow it down a little bit, but it didn't. Just made a point for someone to attack on for every time we went on the climb. Someone trying to get away there. A lot of people, I think, had the same plan going into this, is try to get a breakaway. And every team literally threw haymakers the entire race while everybody else chased them back. So I started at the back of this race, and relatively smaller field, so it wasn't that big of a deal. We had, and I think that's because of El Paso and where it's located. There's not a whole lot of cities that are really close by, and I may be wrong here, and I'm making a complete judgment, but I don't know how popular cycling is in El Paso. Maybe not cycling, but racing. I'm not sure how popular it is. I know we had some local guys out there. I watched some of the races in the morning and the afternoon, but for like the elite level, I don't know. And it's kind of a longer flight for a lot of us. So I think like you didn't really have a lot of that local support, and we didn't have a lot of people traveling in, which made it a little bit smaller of a field. I think we had 70 guys. So starting at the back wasn't that big of a problem. My main goal on this race was to kind of surf wheels and make my way up towards the front of the race, towards like 15 minutes to go, something like that. And stuck to that plan pretty good. Kind of talk about this course. We had 4 corners, and I say 4 corners with like a chicane. What we have is pretty much really tight turns. The only turn that was really wide open was turn 1, which we're going into right now. Pretty much take that on the inside, outside, and pretty much safe the entire time. Going down into a downhill section, and then we went into another right-hand turn into it had a really tight pinch point. So a lot of people tried to make up a lot of space, like a ground on the downhill section, and then when they got to the pinch point, everybody would have to push their brakes. So if you weren't really like top 10 going into that pinch point, then you had to grab brakes and then 1,000 watts out. Right here, I see Ben Wolf making his way up to the front. I know I'm just going to hop on his wheel and try to take this free ride up. He takes me up like 20 positions easily, just riding his wheel. He's going up to the front to do work. I don't want to be up there yet, so I'm just going to chill mid-pack. And I'm still in that like washing machine. So there's a couple of different points of a crit that, I figured out is you have like the top 10. Top 10, you're putting in a lot of watts, but it's smooth effort. They're smoothed out, your heart rate's controlled. And then you have right behind that, like top 10, the top 12, you have the freaking washing machine. And this is where everybody is bumping. Everybody is fighting to get into those top positions. And everybody just, you go up 1, 2 people pass you. You go up 2, 3 people pass you. So you really have to you just get bumped around, and you're in this giant washing machine. And then behind that washing machine is the area, the death dangle zone. And that's where everybody's hanging on for dear life. That's where all the people are open mouth breathing, and they're getting gapped off. And you think it's a good area, it's a comfortable area to be like, yeah, let me tail gun this race. It's not. I've tail gunned races. It's not fun. Literally, you're just jumping spots from people getting dropped the entire race. So the best spot to be is in the front, but it's really hard to get there. And sometimes you really have to fight for the positions, because then behind, like I said, behind that you have the washing machine where you have all these people shooting up into the top 10, and you're constantly fighting for the right to be there. So kind of in the washing machine right now. Danny Estevez is here. He won it. He's a sprinter. He knows exactly what he's doing. He rides the race to win the sprint. So he sits right into this little area, kind of lets people pass him, and he just kind of does what he does and sits into motion. Sebastian did a really good job. He likes to stay up in the top 15. It's just more comfortable up there. And I'm making my way up to the front of the race here. Got a teammate, Torcat, right on my right. And it was good. It was hot. It's desert, so you don't really know that you don't sweat. And it's like you lose hydration, but you don't like actually feel wet, so you don't feel like you're losing hydration. So you can really dehydrate yourself pretty quick there. Now, I want to say it was in the 80s at night, and I was just like a salt brick by the end of the race. My mouth was dry. The dry air just like feel like you're breathing in dirt, and it's just like you got this cough, and there's nothing worse than having a cough on a plane during a pandemic, trying to explain to people, oh, I raced bikes. And people look at you weird. They want to shank you. So it wasn't ideal to race out there and then get on a plane the next morning at 5 a.m. with 4 hours of sleep and start coughing. But the overall rating of this course, it was really fun. What was cool about this course is it was downtown, right on the border of Mexico, and it was right in downtown El Paso. Roads were semi-decent. Most of the crit course was pretty smooth. There's a couple points, especially coming right into this section. This was really crappy roads. You had two areas. You had a curb right there on your left that wanted to kill you, and then you came into this chicane that basically had a cobblestone lip on it that was just shredding people. As you can see right here on my right, the butcher box guy just put his hand up. That was the entire race. People were their chains were blowing off, their wheels were blowing out, their handlebars were coming loose. I mean, there was a shitload of mechanicals in this race, and that was another factor, because you'd be behind somebody, you'd be cruising, and then their chain pops off, and then they put their hands up, and you'd have to go cross that gap that they just opened. So that's energy that you're spending. So it wasn't really a super smooth, flowy course, which definitely added in some of those technical skills that you need to race at this level in this crit. This guy spits. Doesn't hit me, thank God, but there's a lot of people spinning in this race also because of the dry heat. Things that you notice, when you watch these videos, you're like, that happened? You don't notice that when your heart rate's 180 beats, but when you watch, you're like, man, this guy straight up spit on me and I didn't even know. So right here, I got an opportunity, take a couple spots, and then realized I'm not going anywhere. Finally made my way up to Sebastian at this point. So I'm at the front of the race here, and there's a couple breakaways that went up the road. And I was like, I'm going to try 1 or 2 times to get into a breakaway, see if it works. Unfortunately, my camera did die with 15 minutes to go, so it missed all the glory of me being in the breakaways. But we'll go ahead and move on to Sebastian's. And you'll see right here, I made a point to film this about how quick you can lose position in a crit race. So Sebastian goes up the road, and then next thing you know, I get caught in this point right here, almost hit a curb, almost hit another curb, and it's then I miss pedal, and then I'm doing 0 watts, and all these guys are going 1,000 watts out of the corner, almost hit another curb, another 800 watts, and I'm just losing position. So I just spent 15 minutes making to the front of the race to lose it all in 5 minutes or 5 seconds, So that's how quick things can change in a race. And a lot of people are like, well, I saw you at the back of the race. Why were you there? And it's because I got there in 8 seconds. You didn't see me work all the way to get to the front. You just saw me getting blown off the back right here and going, oh, my race is almost over right now. So I finally, I catch back on, and I have to start the whole process over again and make my way to the front of the race. And it's crazy. And maybe that's just me, but I mean, in this scenario, I really had no choice. It happened to me, and I couldn't do anything about it. It's just I can't bunny hop a curb at 30 miles an hour. So start the process over again. Sebastian's up the road, and luckily, like I said, we had this hill, so I was able to make up 3-4 spots on that hill, and then another 2-3 spots right here coming into this turn, and then take a couple more spots right here. So I made it back up to the front relatively quick. And this move was perfect right here. So I was able, on the uphill section, just keep my momentum and make it right up into like the top 10. And right behind Michael Hernandez, very active, CS Velo. And so this is a great spot. There's a breakaway that goes up the road, and I'm just going to chill for a second, relax, try to recover as best I can at 30 miles an hour, and see what happens. Because every break was really getting brought back. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait for the perfect opportunity to take a free ride and try to form my own breakaway. And I found myself a lot like letting these little gaps open to in order for me not to push the brake. So I'd let the CS Velo guy go up the road a little bit, so I was able to take a smooth line through that turn. And I found that helped a lot with just saving energy and recovery. I would just take the coasting on the downhill and then let that gap open a little bit. No brakes, come out, power up these climbs right here, up this little climb. Automatic dude's calling for help. Nobody's coming for you. I'm sorry. Make my way back up to the front. And man, like I said, that hill is just a lifesaver when you have a little gradient in a race, because it just allows you to just give a little oomph and you can make it right up to the front. It's just compared to like a course like Boise, where it's straight up 4-corner, smooth crit, it's crazy. So automatic dude right here, he's going to go, oh, I'm going to the breakaway. And I said, whole free ride, let me go. Hopping on. Choo-choo, look back, nobody's coming with. It's a perfect opportunity, and this is exactly what I was looking for. There's about 8 guys up the road, and this is like things that win bike races right here. Late move, like 50 minutes into a race, maybe even like 56 minutes into a race. This is it. So I get here, my camera dies, and what happens, basically, a quick rundown, we get caught up, there's a counterattack, I go with the counterattack, Butcher Box is there, I don't end up pulling because I just bridged with this guy. I get called out for not pulling, and then he launches an attack, ends up getting caught, and then we're all back together. I end up getting spit like probably mid-pack, trying to recover, and then Best Buddies puts on full gas, which you'll see on Sebastian's camera that's coming up pretty soon, and from there it's, I pull it off with 2 to go. But here we are, Sebastian's camera. This is with like 5 to go, and I chopped it up a lot. So, his mistakes that he noticed, he wasn't aggressive enough with protecting his inside. With 5 laps to go, everybody is trying to just stay at the front, like top 4. That's, you have the lead out from Best Buddies, and then you have everybody fighting for position. And as you see right here, people are coming up on your right, people are coming up on your left. And it's so hard right here, 2 spots lost. So it's so hard. You have to be really aggressive. And this is why I don't like sprinting. I'm a big boy. I probably could figure out how to sprint, but I don't like this mess. I'd rather just break away. I'd rather do the work. I don't like putting myself in this position. I don't have. You have to have the mindset, and I'm not a sprinter, but Sebastian is, and he is really good at. I mean, right here, 6 spots. He just put him. He's putting himself into the position to win the race, and that's what's so talented about these sprinters. So Ben Wolf, from what I heard, it was Ben Wolf, Michael Hernandez that just put out a massive lead out. Starting with Ben Wolf, and then Hernandez came through, put out like 400 watts or something, I think it said, and then Danny Estevez ended up winning. We did have a crash on the last corner. CS Velo guy came in super, super duper hot and just slid out. Luckily, nobody else got taken out from that crash. But right, you see how wheels are just being lost here from that lead out. And it just, that's the race right there. So final turn, CS Velo guy slides, hits the barrier. Automatic dude gets a little bit chopped from that, but we ended up getting, I want to say sixth. I think 6th place. But thanks for watching. Till next time.